Hello, everyone. Boone here. I am with Jeff McElwee.
It's me.
And Jeff, how you doing, man?
I am super fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm so good. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to have Jeff with us tonight. Jeff, you have been one of the most consistent, awesome viewers and chat engagers here on Boone Builds for at least the last 8 months.
Yeah.
And maybe before. I've really appreciated that, and so I'm excited to have you on the show tonight.
I'm just happy to be here. Like
Awesome.
that's it. This is awesome. So
That's great. I can't wait to talk about all that cool stuff you got behind you, as well as all kinds of Lego stuff tonight. Everybody, it's Jeff McElwee on AFOL Spotlight Live.
Let's go! Time aboard this proverbial Winnebago. We're talking about the awesome fans of Lego. So build your mock and shift it into drive. It's time for AFOL Spotlight Live.
And that is the end. Yes! I'm so glad you did that. You even told me about that yesterday, and I forgot. So it was a nice little surprise.
yeah, there you go. I wanted to build Eagle 5, but I got so wrapped up in like adulting that I couldn't do it in time. And I was like, this will work. So I grabbed my Winnebago. I'm ready to go on this ride. So there we go.
That's amazing. Amazing. You know, when I wrote that song, I was like, I've just pulled that out of nowhere. It makes no sense. It only rhymes.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, like, Emily one day was like, what are you humming? And I just kind of paused and was like, nothing. And like kept going.
Oh, that's so great. I'm glad to hear that. I always know that when people, you know, I used to be in a band and people would get songs stuck in their heads, or it happened with, you know, here we go, we're building with bricks now. And
Right.
I figure if a song I wrote gets stuck in people's heads, I 100% have done my job. So
You're on the right road for like making that track and those records and things. What was your band name, by the way?
we were called Nicodemus Snow. We named our band after a headstone in a pioneer cemetery in the part of town where a lot of us, you know, lived and spent time when we were younger. But
Awesome. I just want to say hi to my father-in-law, Paul Buckley, is in the chat, and that is my future father-in-law, and as is my future wife, MB, is here. So that's really cool.
Welcome. Thank you for watching with us. I also do. I feel like that's a good segue to Mark Crookshank. Many of you know him as the other bearded builder from Lego Masters Fox, and some other of my friends, including Blair. You might know Blair from the chats. They live in a part of Portland, part of the Portland area that is evacuating right now due to wildfires.
Oh, no.
So if you are out there and you pray or you put good vibes into the universe, please do that for Mark and Blair and anyone else, any other friends we have. I know California's bad too, but I appreciate that. So anyway, let me just look at the chat real quick. Rick is here, Gabe is here, Chantel is back, Legomatic, Aquamike, Lunchbox Dude. That is
an awesome name.
Lunchbox Dude says, "Here we go, Jeff."
Hey, Boone, weren't you on Lego Masters?
Yes. How
was that some sort of game show or?
Thank you, Lunchbox Dude, for coming by. We got Cody, Dave, Morgan, Moto is in here. So thank you to Dave and thank you to Moto for being a couple of my lovely, awesome. What are they called? Moderators in the chat. They help us stay safe and fun in the chat there. And so I wasn't even paying attention to what those said. I just clicked on their names. Jeff, tell me about your relationship with Lego. Whatever you want to tell me about it. What is Lego to you?
So my relationship with Lego is escapism and it's creativity. Like when I was like 5 or whatever, my dad was a 20-year man in the Navy, right? And so he was always gone, but whatever. And he came home one day and he had a Futuretron set, like a little box. And I was like, was ist das? And he was like, I don't know. It's like Lincoln Logs. Oh, okay. And like he tossed it at me, and I had Duplo, and like I knew what Duplo was because everybody has Duplo. At least in the 80s we did. And from there on out, I was like, this is my outlet. Of course, 5-year-old Jeff didn't call it that. 5-year-old Jeff was like, Spaceman, go, cool. So like from there on out, it was building. And then I hit high school, and I was like, I'm in high school. I don't build with Lego. I want to make out with ladies and do things and like things like that. So like that stopped. I hit 21. I hit a really bad point in my life, and like I needed an outlet. I needed something to look at. I needed something to just turn stuff off. Now I have anxiety and a little bit of PTSD, but that's not a big deal. But like, it's important to treat those things. And at that time, I was super low, like depressed, like the whole 9 yards, right? Like things are not going well for Jeff in Jefftown at that age. And I looked up Lego like Lego creations because I was like, Lego sets, let's do this. And I found mock pages, rest in peace mock pages. Apparently, I was gonna like show some older builds, but I was like, well, that page is gone now. Okay, I can't do that anymore. And I didn't back up any of those pictures.
Yeah. Oh no.
Right. So like,
yeah.
So I'm looking through all this stuff, and I'm seeing like moon bases and like everything else. I stopped what I was doing. I got up out of my chair. Rays of sunlight poured through the window and hit me, and I got back in the habit. Like I was,
wow.
I had a semi-good paying job. I lived with my parents, and I was like, I only need $200 to pay my bills this month. And just like went to Walmart and just started shoveling sets in and was like, I will do the thing again, and I will be awesome at it. And Lego was life-saving. Like Lego is creativity, and Lego is just joy for me. It always has been. There's been like times when like I've been so frustrated with a build that like a set has gone through the air before, and not because I was swooshing it, but because I was doing the best throw I could. But like that's when you pick up the pieces, and that's when you rebuild it. And with mental health, like when you're rebuilding yourself, it's kind of a symbol for that too. If you can make these pieces fit, if you can make this work the way you need it to, you're set. You're good to go. And that's all you have to do. So like part of my coping and therapy methods are, in all honesty, building. So
that's amazing, Jeff. I've heard some awesome stories about what Lego has done for people, what connecting to the Lego community has done for some people. What I've heard some wonderful stories about the show and how it brought families together in a new way. But just there's all these different avenues, and so I love that you are willing to share that story with us. It's beautiful. I have a little bit of tears in my eyes, and I'm just so pleased. I can't tell you how pleased. And I look, everyone, pretty much every week on Tuesday or Wednesday, I do a test call with whoever is going to be my guest for Thursday night. And yesterday, like I knew I was going to enjoy Jeff being on the show tonight, but I didn't know, Jeff and I don't know each other per se.
Right. We're sort of buddies.
We're acquainted online. We're we're internet buddies. That's a good way I'd say.
Yeah.
And when I got done with the test call, I walked into the house and I said to Danny, I was like, I'm so pleased. I'm so looking forward to talking to Jeff tomorrow night because I really just think that you have a perspective there that is so refreshing to hear. It is that story that you are able to talk about is different from my story, but in many other ways, I feel like you and I are cut from the same cloth, right? So
yeah, both good old Arizona boys, right?
Yeah. So tell me about your time in Arizona.
So in Arizona, we moved there when I was like 13.
Okay.
So like as you were leaving, I believe I was coming in. And like I had been to Kingman before. Kingman is a very small town. There's a lot of people that have alternative takes on what human rights are there. And so being like the bisexual kid that I am, and I'm like, everything is awesome and people are great, I got my ass kicked a lot because it's like, it hit me in high school when I was like, there's no such thing as like racism anymore in my town. I'm blind to it, or I'm not seeing it, or anything like that. And like, I saw this kid named Larry, and Larry was like the one black kid in our school, right? And like, at the time, I'm listening to punk and ska, and I'm getting the message in my head, and I'm getting those feelings out in the world where like, you can't treat people a certain way, you can't treat people this way, right? And this is all in Kingman, like the smallest town in the world. And this kid's getting just riled by some good old boys. Stop that! And then I got my ass kicked. But Larry didn't get bothered anymore. Like, they targeted me, and I was A-okay with that. I'm sorry for saying the bad word. I didn't mean to, but like, that was my life in Kingman up until I moved. Like, it was just rampant crap every day. And if you spoke out against that, you became a target for people that were like, well, let's go mess this guy up or whatever else. And so while I was in Kingman and while I got older, I dealt with my issues. I'm still dealing with my issues. That stuff doesn't ever go away, people. Like, you deal with it all of your life. Sorry, rant over about that. But I got into behavioral health. And I started helping other people cope with methods. And I used Lego, like kids with like autism, for example. I would build sets with those kids, and I would use the same method for myself that I would use with them. It's okay if things fall apart, if things don't go your way, you just rebuild it. That's the beauty of everything. Like, no matter how down you are, no matter how like toasted you are or just done with life, you can rebuild it and you can start over. And when I met Emily, by the way, I met my wife on World of Warcraft. I played a lot of video games too. That helped too. I met Emily, and I had just gotten divorced. We're not going to talk about the first marriage, but I just gotten divorced. I dated some people, and then I met Emily, and like, her words were, "I get it." And like, from there on out, I was like, she's the one. Let's do this. And our friend Mary, after we like puttered around a little, our friend Mary was like, why aren't you two a thing? And we're like, well, we're just friends and, you know, whatever. And then one visit turned into another visit. And then another visit turned into another visit. And then another visit. And then another visit. And I was a corrections officer at the time. And all this was going on. I met the woman of my dreams. And I'm like, well, I was on the verge of becoming something more than a CO. And I was going to take the next steps to make this my career and to be a sergeant. And I just stopped and was like, nah, pass. So Kingman's in my rear view. It'll always be in my rear view. It is awkward moving to Oklahoma City, though. And I'm going to explain why, and it's kind of dark.
Okay. I'm ready.
So Oklahoma City had that bombing in 94, right? The guy that did it is from Kingman. So when you're meeting a new employer and they're like, why does Kingman sound familiar? And you're sitting there in the chair like, I don't know. Can we just be done now? I don't want to explain this. So like, Kingman left its mark on me, like, bad. And now I'm in Oklahoma and things are great. Like, in all honesty, I'd much rather live here than where I was.
Well, I'm glad to hear you can say things are great. That's good. Dude, I had no idea that we were going to look. Legomatic said inspirational messages with Jeff. I had no idea we would be diving in.
I didn't either.
Vision is here. Vision Brick says, hey, Jeff. And
Kurt is the man.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Man, Melissa's back. See you later is back. All right. Benjamin asked, what is a CO? Corrections officer.
Corrections officer. We're not going to talk about the police though on this. We're not going to talk about that at all right now.
We will have the official AFOL Q&A at the end of the stream. So stick around and we'll have plenty of time for questions. So Jeff, you have a shirt on that I recognize. This is the Bearded Builders Guild.
Indeed.
Is that correct? And
that is correct.
What can you tell us about how you came across the shirt?
So what came across me and this T-shirt was that I met Cody through your silly channel, and then like
amazing.
Cody and I talked a lot, and then we talked a lot about like Lego Masters, and we made rude comments that we both laughed at about Lego comments. And then he brought up the BBG, and I was like, "Was ist das?" And he was like, "It's this," and I was like, "Okay, how do I join? Because I'm down." And he told me, and I was like, yeah, "Look, man, I don't really build big things." And he's like, "Hold on a second, I will speak with the beard and triumvirate." And I was like, "Okay." I did not get in, but I will one day. And I am a supporter of the BBG. That's how I got this T-shirt. I gave Cody money, and then he gave me a T-shirt because that's how an exchange of goods works in America. So yeah, pretty much it.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Is it clear to you how you become a member?
So from what I was told, I needed to gain notoriety because, in all honesty, like before anything, I've always been like the guy who builds like the little things and things like that. And I'm never going to be your buddy Mark who builds an epic mech garage thing. Like that's never going to be me. Like lights and like moving parts. Nope. Not me. But like, I figure if I can be a good spot in our little community that we have and our circle of people that we have within the community, maybe I'll get in one day. If not, that's okay too. I got a cool T-shirt and a sticker on my car, so that's all I care about at this point.
Well, I think you're great, Jeff. And I would love to see some of your creations. Can we dive into show and tell?
We are going to dive into show and tell. Does this have the theme song or does it not have the theme song?
I don't know. It's a special Jeff McElwee show and tell. Show and tell. I don't know why the songs that I make up are always like whatever
80s glam rock.
Yeah, 80s glam rock. And I'm not sure why that is the case. I appreciate that music. It's not really my go-to style to sing otherwise, but it certainly became a thing on Lego Masters. And now I realize that like when I'm making up a song on the fly, that's sort of the style I go with. But here we are. It's show and tell. What do you got, Jeff?
So 1 second, Ben is here, and I have to say, Con!
What? Yes, Con!
Yeah, Con's here, so I had to say hi to Ben.
You brought it up. You made the mistake of bringing up Ben. I'm sure I've talked about this before, but you know, this is my channel, so I can talk about things that I want to talk about over and over again. Simon Liu had kind of a thing going around. It was sort of a joke that, like, you know, Simon Liu is sort of the grandfather, the godfather of like TFOLs everywhere, kind of, you know, or a generation of TFOLs that are now AFOLs, there was this joke going around that there needed to be a convention that was just called Simon Con, and it was going to be this whole thing. And simultaneously, a different group of people, we were joking around about me starting my own convention. It was going to be called BoonCon.
You should.
And so then somehow the conversation came up that there would be one T-shirt dedicated to all three things, and it's Simon Con, BoonCon, BenCon.
Yeah.
But
you should. That'd be awesome.
The con is spelled differently. And I remember at the time, the theme for the first BoonCon was going to be maybe like it was unicorns versus dragons, or dragons versus unicorns, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But all right, it's show and tell time. I'm sorry.
It's really okay. So we're gonna start with my favorite superhero, and I think Boone's favorite superhero, and I know Brick Bat Dad's favorite superhero. So it's not as epic as a fully functional bat cave, but it's definitely a bat jet ski. Like, I am.
Go on.
Okay. Like,
I'm ready over here on the other screen.
All right. I hated the Batman like water sets that came out. I don't mean to speak poorly of Lego's design choices, and I am not, but I hated them. I was like, what is this? Like, why would he lay down? So like in my mind, there's like Batman zooming into justice on his bat jet ski with breather for in case he has to go underwaters.
Yes.
So like this is probably one of my favorite builds just because every time I build something or I try to attempt to build something, I try to do like 100 pieces or less just to see if I can get the detail in, if I can get all of that just packed in smaller. You saw that yesterday with the build that I showed off briefly in our pre-production stuff, and I'll show it again later. But
yeah,
like this is just fun. This is like something that like a little kid or like somebody could take with them on a road trip, and the pieces aren't going to fall off because they're using the clip method with Technic bars, right, to hold the bars in and give that swooshy feel to it. So like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you can't go wrong with it at all. And now my messy Lego room is on camera. So,
it's not as messy as mine.
All right, fair enough.
There was this. So what that reminds me of is I'm trying to find it over here on the screen because the moment you held that up in front of the camera, it reminded me of this. It's a Kenner toy from the Dark Knight series.
Yes.
Like 1991, 92.
It was 92.
And
yeah.
I thought it was called the Bat Foil. Is that what it's called? Because it
might be. I can't remember, but I know exactly what you're talking about because Batman's our jam, especially Kenner Batman from the 90s.
But I can't find a picture of it.
That is a bummer.
Must be like Kenner Dark Knight. I'm just gonna see if I can pull up the whole collection and see if there's something. See if I can find something that reminds me of that. No, it wasn't that. Well, maybe. I don't think it was that. It was
because it was that weird period between the animated series making toys and then like Kenner still making like almost pseudo superpower super friend shows.
Yeah, it was, and it was.
Hey, sorry, real quick, Boone. Like,
go for it.
Brix O'Brien is here. Brian Saviano is one of my good friends, and I just wanted to say hello to him. And that's awesome that he's here. Thank you very much for showing up, Brian.
Thanks for coming, Brian. Here, I'll show this. I'm not 100% sure that this is the thing I was thinking of. I don't think this is exactly what I was thinking of, but it'll give everyone the sense of the era I'm talking about. It was this era of like weird Batman vehicles, and I feel like there was another one where he stood more on top, and it was almost more like but I can't find the thing I was thinking of. So maybe it was like some sort of Mandela effect, and it didn't actually happen in this universe. But
well, for $55, you can own that.
No, I had it as a kid. It was terrible.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it was fun, but it was weird. Okay, all right, Jeff, move on.
All right, so
unless you want to show us more about that, I don't mean you have to move on. But.
I don't have anything to show. Like, there's a little control pad up front that I can't, for gauges. I'm not a big functionality guy, so like I just thought it'd be, this makes sense that's there.
yeah, that's great. I mean, for any, I feel like when people want, I've switched us. Look at that. StreamYard will do this now.
The old switcheroo.
Isn't this cool?
If one of us had cups full of poison, we might be in trouble. I got nothing. I'm sorry.
But the people ask all the time. A lot of people, I hear people say all the time, how do you go from building the sets to building stuff on your own? Building stuff from your own imagination. And part of what I want to say to people is like,
figure it out yourself.
All you have to do, well, kind of. All you have to do is try it, and if it looks like it makes sense to you, then it works.
Yeah.
If you look at it and you think, that doesn't really make sense, then you should probably try something different. But anyway.
No, absolutely. That is absolutely it.
Yeah. So when you talk about like adding something here and going, yeah, I think that's good. That's how you do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so we're gonna go to something more conventional. This is a Batmobile built in the Speed Champions scale. I really like that scale, and I have like a future city plan in my head, and like it's gotta have a Batmobile. It's gotta have this scale of vehicle in it. And I'll show another vehicle that I've made in this scale so that we can go about it. But it took like Batman the Animated Series, the season 4, the not so good one, but with the awesome car in it. Right, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I took that, and I took like the Burton Mobile, and I was like, how can I make this work? And it took a while, and like when I finally got it, I realized that Batman can't sit up in the car.
Right.
And I was like, dang it. So Batman is reclined.
Yeah.
As he drives in there. So
man. They're talking about we were talking about the Kenner stuff. Oh yeah.
He's just taking a nap.
Do you remember the Bruce Wayne's custom coupe?
I have it.
So do I. And he literally like he drives it like this.
Yeah.
He's like, here, I should make myself. This is good stuff. This is good YouTube.
There you go.
Like this, and his legs are like straight out in front. And so Batman can drive. I think the tumbler, doesn't he like go from this to like this in the tumbler? And there's Batman can do it. Batman can do anything he wants. Okay.
That's why we're not superheroes, Boone.
Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty. So Batmobile is pretty simple. Like it's easy enough to get the lid off, the top off, the lid off, and go for it. And now it's not sitting even for some reason. So I'm just gonna put that away and let my OCD vanish as I put it out of camera view. Alrighty. So the next thing I want to talk about is my love of Ice Planet. Like Ice Planet 2002 was my jam and many other people's jams, but it's about me right now, so it's my jam. So this is an oldie but a goodie, as it were. And I also loved macros, like growing up, like the fighter and everything else and like all that stuff, right? So like I wanted to build like a modern day like celestial sled from and I was like, how do I do that? And I'm looking through the Lego Adventure book 4 or 3 or 2, one of those. And that's by Megan something or other. Great person. And Mark Stafford, my favorite Lego builder that works for Lego, contributed to some parts of it too. And there was a design scheme of multiple cockpits. And I was like, okay. And then I looked at that and I went, I care nothing for these cockpits. And decided to make my own and like do the best that I could with what I had. And like it'll fold down like in the middle so you can get like a cool versatile shot, like but then you have the ski coming up and it doesn't make any sense, but that's not important. The cockpit doesn't open. Like this thing is like held together with baling wire and the best of hopes and dreams that I have. I added some blue and white on the back because I was gonna stick with the white like little clippy parts, but it needed more color. Like as you can tell, it's mostly a white build. But like when we compare it with the original, like this thing, it looks like it has a job. Mine looks like it's about to go bomb some Spirius people, and I'm okay with that. So,
yeah, and you reminded me. I was telling you yesterday. I think my favorite space sub theme of the '90s was M-Tron. Mm-hmm. But I got into the space game a little late to like really collect all the M-Tron sets. So the sub theme that I probably collected more of than any other sub theme in my entire childhood was Ice Planet. And I think the name Celestial, I can't say it, Celestial
it's difficult, right?
But it sounds so amazing to me. Like I'm flying in on the celestial sled, and it's like
I
think it's amazing.
Yep.
So thank you for bringing it back. It has more of a like Starfighter feel in your new
right. Like that's
print.
I've always been a bigger fan of like Starfighters or like things like that and all that fun stuff. But I'm gonna show off a simple build that like. This was the challenge. This was like it was one of those low moments, okay? And my wife at the time had been like, you can't build. No more Lego, nothing. And I was like, okay. So I snuck parts from my parents' house. And like, excuse me, I grabbed like 300 pieces and was like, boom. Like, I had just watched Blade Runner and I was like, what would a car, like a fancy, like almost Batmobile car look like in Blade Runner? And like, this is what I came up with. Again, the pilot is still, bye, Mike. You have a good one. Oh, Aqua Mike, you had a question for me. My favorite Star Wars set is the Knights of the Old Republic fighter. It was red and gray, and it had Satele Shan and the soldier whose name I can't remember. Anyway, so he was leaving, so I thought I'd answer it, and I said I would answer it for him.
That's great.
We're done. Sorry. So like, in my mind, like either the Batman Beyond Batmobile that I haven't built yet, that I will because I want to, would be perfect in that Blade Runner, it's always raining, I hate everything, cyberpunk noir world. And by the way, I loved both of those movies. I even have the crappy narration one, and that is my favorite of all time. I'm sorry. All right, so like just the idea of a future where this, like something like this could happen would be great to see. Just like a flying car, like a flying anything would be great. And so let's bring it back to Ice Planet. So in my mind when I was a child, and even as an adult, I'm like, Ice Planet, okay. What happens if Ice Planet loses? The world melts, right? And like Aquazone is out at right around the same time. So I was like, yeah. So like in my head, I built a narrative of like how these people were surviving in their new water world. It's no Sea Lug or Sea-Tron. Wink.
Sea-Tron.
Right. So I was like, how would they, they would adapt, they would mine crystals that were, bunches of ice that would make oxygen, and like it was all fitting in my head, right? And like all of those things nailed it. And as I got older, I liked the sets, don't get me wrong, but as I got older, I wanted to build like almost a modern day. How would they be doing it now? Like resources have got to be running low. There's got to be all this stuff just running out. So like small crafts, like one-man crafts with like limited technology and just hoping for the best. So I built this thing. And
I love to look at that.
Thank you. When I build, I try to think small and I try to keep it under 100 pieces. This is not under 100 pieces though, unfortunately. But I think of like color schemes and everything else. I don't draw it out because I can't draw. I don't use Studio because I'm not a computer guy at all in the Studio thing. I've tried using it and just went, nope. So, but
okay.
Yeah, I want to learn because it would probably make building a lot easier. But on the other hand, yeah. So all of those things factor into whenever I build, and just this thing is just cool. It's got a little ramp thing for whatever reason, and like it's just something that like if you were a kid and you saw it on the shelf, and your parents are like, you can buy one Lego set under X amount of dollars, you'd either get the Bat Sea-Doo or the cool Aquazone underwater thing,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say about that Bat Sea-Doo. Is it could be almost a bat version of like pretty much every classic space set that was under $10.
Exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like that's exactly right, because like I grew up in the 80s, of course, and Futuretron was like my jam. I love Futuretron, and I'll be part of the Monorail Club one day. One day it'll happen, I promise. And people will rue the day. Well, not really. They'll just be like, hey, way to go, Jeff. But I mean, besides that, like Futuretron gave me like that Star Trek Academy, Star Trek feel. And my dad, God bless him, he introduced me to 3 things when I was a kid. He introduced me to Blade Runner. Go ahead.
I'm just counting with you.
Okay. Star Trek, and then eventually Star Wars. And like Futuretron just reminded me of like that's totally Captain Kirk with the spacesuits on, and they're on the planet, and like,
yeah, and the zipper,
right? You can't go wrong with that stuff. I gotta grab another mock. I forgot to bring it down. Give me.
No, it's fine. Ben said studio isn't for everyone. I'm a computer guy, but still prefer to build with my hands. Yeah. I love both. I love both experiences. I almost have a hard time talking about which I like more because I just have such a great appreciation for both building with physical bricks and using the virtual, the digital program there, the 3D. So anyway, Ben.
I can't show off the Steampunk build because it just took a header.
Oh no! It was so cool. Oh
man!
Now it's a stream about putting back together. No. Well, next time.
Next time.
So
man, that sucks.
You can still tell us the story. So because there was a connect, I didn't tell you. Have you seen Mark's Ninjago Rolling City?
I pay really close attention to what Mark builds. I'm like a secret stalker fan of his, and I'm like, man, that guy's so cool and he does all the things, and I wish I could build like that. And calm down, Jeff. You don't need to like do that. Just admire his work from afar. So that's what I do.
So you mentioned that the airships in was it Rolling Engines? What was it called? Mortal Engines?
Yeah, Mortal Engines, that crappy movie that was supposed to be good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mark started building Ninjago Rolling City during I should let him tell you the story, but I'll give you the short version and y'all can ask him when you see him. He started building that while he was listening to the audiobook before the movie came out.
I heard the book is much better, but you can say that about virtually almost anything.
Right. And I think he was a little disappointed with the book. We built the Ready Player One stacks. Mark and Brett and I built the Ready Player One stacks, and that was we built those before we even knew. We started building before we knew there was going to be a movie.
Yeah.
And I think we finished building like just after they had like dropped the very first teaser trailer, and we had a lot of fun with that build, and we really enjoyed the audiobook, and then we went and saw the movie together, Mark and I think my buddy, one of my other buddies was with us, but I enjoyed the movie more than Mark did. I think Mark was really hoping for it to be a lot more like the book, and
yeah,
it was so complex that they had to leave so much out. But anyway,
yeah, I felt the same way.
Mel is here. Iceberg, thanks for coming by, buddy. Sorry, Jeff.
It's all good. Like it's always a good time when Iceberg Brick shows up or Mel shows up. He's such a he's another person that I like follow and like would like to interact with more. I just don't, because I'm always like slightly, even before we did the thing tonight, like I am so terrified right now because I'm like, please, I don't know what to talk about. I get nervous, man. Like you're
doing so good. You should not be nervous. You're so personable, and your stories are compelling and rich. All right.
Alrighty. So back to Lego Space a little bit. So like also Ice Planet had like a rover, because rovers are a thing, right? So like I remember looking at the rover and I was like, nope, not for me as 20-something or 30-something-year-old Jeff. So I did what I did. I grabbed 100 pieces. I grabbed pieces that were like the rover's colors, and I started building. And like, it's still got the radar system on the back, but I added like a cool, radar like screen. So like, his buddy, who is in an updated, Ice Planet suit, can look at the radar and hope he catches up with his skis and whatnot. So I don't know. But,
that's awesome. One of the things I love about sub themes like Ice Planet is that their color schemes are so incredibly strong.
Yes.
That you can almost build anything using blue, white, and transparent neon orange.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to just sell Ice Planet, right? So I think that's really fun. I think it's pretty brilliant when Lego gets like that focused, for sort of the art direction of a theme.
I miss those days, if I'm being 100% with you. I miss those days when we had like the different sub themes of space or the different sub themes of whatever, like.
Right. I think I think we still get a bit of that through city stuff. Like the ice explorers or the jungle explorers. I feel like I feel like some of the city sub themes still do a pretty good job of that. But what I miss homegrown space, and it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, we haven't had it for seems like 30 years, and I know it hasn't been that long, but
it's when Lego picked up the space license, or when Lego picked up the Star Wars license. I'm gonna piss some people off. It was the stupidest thing they could have done and kept it this long. Like part of the deal, I believe, was they can't release any space sets along with the Star Wars set unless it's like under the creator license. And we got the rover recently. Like that rover is like chef's kiss, perfect. But like, we're not going to see a resurgence of Blacktron unless we get like we did with the Barracuda, which is like an updated version, whatever, slapping a new sticker on it, but building it totally different and having new quirks to it. But I don't think we're ever going to see like Space Police 4 or, Blacktron 4 or anything like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that sucks.
Remy Baker look who they have in their avatar.
Nice.
I definitely miss Classic Space as well, with a little Futuron person in the avatar. Hey, it looks like you're working on it, man.
Absolutely, because when we fall apart, we just got to put it back together again.
There you go. You said it.
I did.
All right. Cool.
I've got one more mock to show. Oh, I actually have like 3, but whatever.
We have all the time in the world, man.
All right.
That was
damn it. So this is my tribute to Classic Space, to Neo Classic Space, as it were, right? So like,
I'm gonna go back to the thing where I put you in the larger screen. Okay.
So like this is like the tribute, like, Vic Vipers from like the games from back in the day, like Galaga and stuff like that. Like, just imagine this. You're playing in an arcade, you've got a 44-ounce Pepsi, and you've got a slice of pie. And, like, this thing is going back and forth, like, pew, 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 pew. And you're getting those power-ups, so you can use more guns. And, like, this is... Once again, I was inspired by Mark Stafford, by Nabby, and was like, yeah! I'm not going to build a crazy, complicated snake tail or anything. But yeah! And, like... So this is where this came from. This is just my love of space and just all of the stuff that came with it. And, modern parts to make modern space, whatever. You can call me a non-purist all you want. But, like, and this thing just falls apart. Like, mock stability is not going great tonight.
That's fine. That's what we do, right?
Absolutely.
I have so many... It's hard. I have so many examples from the show now, so I'm just gonna start saying the show because people know what I'm talking about, or it doesn't matter.
Wait, you're on the show?
But they we'd break something or drop something, and they'd run over and they'd be like, "Oh, how are you feeling? Like, what's going on?" And I'd be like, "Look,
get the damn camera out of my face."
This happens at every convention. You either build stuff that doesn't fall apart, or you learn how to just be fine with stuff falling apart because you put it back together. But anyway, I probably shouldn't say more about that. But other than I do think that when you do this stuff, it almost helps. I feel helps us learn to go with the flow, right? And you said, when we fall apart, we pick back up and put our pieces back together. And
exactly,
I love it.
That's almost there, but I can't remember how I put this.
What is Moto saying? I can empathize trashing mocks live with Boone. I don't know what he means.
I don't know.
Yeah, and he you mentioned the Eagle 5 at the beginning of the show, and Moto is talking to April's Crazy Bricks and said Spaceballs is hilarious. I have a plan to work in something related to the Eagle 5 sometime on this channel before the end of the year. And it's going to be such a blip that none of you will even remember I said this when it happens. But I'm excited about it, and I love that ship because it's just hilarious. And that's all I'll say.
John Candy was the greatest gift America or Canada has ever given to America. Prove me wrong.
We just watched Cool Runnings the other night. My daughters are 5 and 9, and we just turned them on to Cool Runnings for the first time in their lives.
Emily is a little bit younger than I am, and she's never seen some of like the classic '80s movies that we grew up with. Like, I don't think she knows what Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is, and I've got to correct that. Or like The Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, or like, and like. So whenever I'm going to diverge. So whenever we watch movies, her and I, we usually watch like a creepy, weird science fiction movie that borderlines on like adult, and then like, oh God, are those? Oh no! So hey, my mom's here.
Aww.
Hi, Mom. Denise McElwee is my mother.
Denise McElwee.
There you go. See, you get that last name down. We're all set.
Thank you for coming, Denise.
Thanks, Mom. So we watched those movies, and then like one day she walked in and she saw me watching the Blues Brothers, and she was like, "What?" I was like, "It's the Blues Brothers. They're on a mission from God. They gotta save the orphanage." And like I sang along with all of the songs and like got up and moved because just how can you not love the Blues Brothers? So like having that like diverse of a film like fandom, I guess, as it were, it's always interesting to introduce it to new people. And then like Emily like got into it too with me, and I was like, she's the one. Like, if anything, that reaffirmed my suspicions of she is my life partner and my best friend all in one thing. So
that's precious.
It is, isn't it?
Stories of love found over the
interwebs,
the VHS tape.
Yeah.
You know what I always thought about Blues Brothers, and there weren't many other movies that did this. Yes. All right, let's take a pause. We're going back to this. What can you tell?
All right. So like I said earlier, when it falls apart, you just rebuild it. So this was, as you guys have seen from like my build so far tonight, everything has a strict, these straight lines go this way, those straight lines go that way. There's no chaos. Everything is to the point, and it's to a degree, right? Like, and then I can't remember who said it. I'm sorry that I forgot, but like, why don't you build something that's not conventional, like that would never work in a million years? And so after binging all of Tailspin one day, I was like, yeah. And so I watched Mortal Engines and I went, but that airship is cool. So yeah, like I wanted to make something that would like almost fit in a steampunk world, but like would never conceptually work in a million years. Like no matter how many propellers or like the jet boosters are somewhere, I couldn't find them, but that's not important. And like, so I got to thinking like, what would his job be? Like, I think he would be a scout for like a bigger air pirate ship, right? And like, this is the contraption that's sent out because it's small, it's bright red, whatever. Hey, thanks very much for the shirt compliment. If you would like one yourself, speak with Cody O. He's the best person on the planet. So like, I built a steam dinghy, as it were, and like,
love it.
And tried to put as much detail as I can. Like, I used the old school walkie-talkie to be like, well, that's a squawk box. That's how he talks to people. If you can tell, there's a little steam gauge in there. So when the pilot is there, he can see how much steam he has left for his like while he's munching his pretzel and freezing like pirate ship or good guy ships with a pirate freeze gun. He's got a little steam backpack. Right.
Yeah.
Because when you're storming good guy ships, you got to have like a pretzel, right?
It all makes perfect sense to me. And that it reminds me that's how we built when we were kids, right? Like it didn't have to make sense to make perfect sense.
Right. And he's got a little bit of landing gear on the bottom, like a little bit of, like a little guard there too, and stuff like that.
Just to land on a foot.
Yeah. Because
to alight itself on top of a cloud.
Why not, right?
I love it. And I got to scroll up to where Vision said the 80s is where it's at. And then he quickly responded with, "You can't tell me otherwise." And I don't think anyone here, we're sort of holding down. There's all these Lego YouTubers that are younger than us, but I love this little section of the fandom that we're carving out for people of and let me say, I'm going to look straight into the camera. I do this at least once an episode. I don't care what your age is. If you're watching and you're enjoying the content here, you are welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Young, not so young, very, very not so young, you're all welcome here. But I appreciate that we get some people in the stream here who love the 80s, lived through the 90s. It's fun.
Exactly, and Spot the Magic Ninja brings up an excellent point. We should bring back time cruisers. I'm just saying.
Time cruisers. Timmy, I just recently learned that Timmy was not only in time cruisers, he was also in a bunch of basic buckets at that time. And it's literally like the same minifigure. But they used him across 2 themes. I thought that was very interesting, and it was not something that I remembered from back then because I wasn't buying a lot of basic buckets. I did have, I gotta pull out my. Do you know what the name of the time cruiser's ship was? The ship with the flapping wings and the mast and the.
I couldn't tell you in a million years unless I looked it up.
I have it somewhere. The one that I got when I was, in fact, it was when we moved from Tucson to Spokane, Washington.
Nice.
And I was nervous about the move. And
sure.
So my dad bought me the time cruiser ship, like the day before we left town. And the deal was that I wasn't going to open the box and build the set until we got to Spokane. So it was sort of like this, here's a little fun thing for you to, look forward to when we get to this new town and I think I was 12.
So you were like this with the box in the back of the van or the back of the truck the whole time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, and I had like my little box of like, magazines, like the Lego Maniac magazine or whatever it was. And and I would like read the things that they had to say about it because it was brand new. So they were, you doing that marketing stuff in the catalogs and the magazines. And I would read stuff about it, and then I would look at the box, and they still had the flap. So I would open the flap, and I'd like read, and I'd like look for parts, and I'd like shake it around, and I'd like look for parts because you could see through the window. And then I'd close it back up, and then I'd like set it down, and I'd just like look out the window for a few minutes. And we're still in Arizona. Okay, I better look back at my. And that was the whole. It was me in the back, and it was a extended cab truck. So my mom and dad. Actually, no, I take that back. My mom was driving the truck, and my dad was driving the big U-Haul truck, and I would kind of bounce back and forth. And so sometimes I'd be sitting next to my dad in the U-Haul, and I'd be like looking at it, and I'd take it, and it just went. It sat next to my bed because I think we had like maybe 2 nights on the drive. So I'll always have a special place in my heart for time cruisers, but I should get that out. And kind of make sure it's all put back together, and I could put it on display here somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like you got a super chat and not from me, so I don't know how to handle this.
Spot the Magic Ninja. Is that like Spot the magic ninja lives by the
blade, you know, because he lives by the blade. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
lives by the blade. Hooray for the 30 plus Lego fans. Thank you very much, Spot. Appreciate your $5 super chat. That is what helps me keep going here. You know, I can't do it without all of you. Jeff has been an incredible. Now I got to point the other way because I've got you on the other side of the screen. Jeff has been an incredible supporter of the live stream here on Boon Builds. So thank you so much for that, Jeff. And Spot, thank you for the $5. You're really wonderful. And yes, I love your luchador mask there in your avatar. That's fun. Hey, we got another one from Greg Kistner. Greg, oh, look who's on his avatar.
Can't go wrong with Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers himself says, thanks again for being awesome and such an amazing voice for the AFOL community. Finally get to catch the show live and send some money. Greg, thank you so much, Greg. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for sharing the love of Mr. Fred Rogers with us. I absolutely love it. I one of the things, and you know, Jeff, you actually kind of reminded me of this spirit. Oh, we'll get there in a second. I got to finish this one. One of my favorite Fred Rogers quotes is something, I'm going to misquote it slightly, but it's something like, the 3 keys to success in life are, number 1, kindness, number 2, kindness, and number 3, kindness. And I know that there are a lot of people that don't believe that, but it sure as heck has gotten me a long way. And you strike me as someone who lives in that way as well, Jeff. So thank you. Thank you so much, Greg.
I didn't for the longest time. Like, I was a real jerk in my 20s. And like, as I've gotten older with the people that age, you don't always have to be the biggest in the room, you know? Like, you just gotta be nice to people. Like, everybody has something to offer to a situation or something to offer to whatever part of your life, right? So like, don't shoot that person down because they're coming at you with knowledge that you don't, that you have that they don't. And like, just be cool, man. And also, we should talk about these super chats because you're buying me a Slurpee is basically what this means.
Paul Buckley, $100 to a good mental health episode. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanks, Dad-in-law.
Yes. Oh, that's your
yeah.
Oh, Paul, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed Jeff's participation in the community here and the camaraderie we have and the company we're sharing tonight. So thank you so much, Paul. And Jeff, thank you for sharing your story this evening.
Sure.
Melissa Mayette, $99.99. I think I'll grow a beard. I thought it would be funny if I thought it would be really funny if there was like a Bearded Builders show, and not everybody on the show has to have a beard, but everybody on the show at least has to wear a beard.
Yeah.
When they appear on the show.
Yeah.
Like you either have to grow a beard or you have to be willing to appear with a fake beard on.
You could rock the fake Lincoln or like the real like Lincoln if you really wanted to, or you know. Yeah.
Melissa, thank you so much. Melissa, again, another one of our awesome supporters and viewers and people who engages in the community here at Boon Builds. I love it so much. Thank you all. This is really, you've gone above and beyond. Dave Morgan,
thanks, Dave.
One of our wonderful moderators with $10. Dave, I should be paying you. It's so nice to see Jeff on the other side of the chat. Yeah, thank you, Dave.
It's awesome to be here.
Thanks for the $10. All right, cool. That's really wonderful.
I have more mocks. Do we want to do more mocks?
Yes. More mocks. Who doesn't want to see more mocks? That's why people come to this show to see mocks.
So this is before I went sober. I had a bad alcohol problem. I know this is getting a little personal, but it all relates to Lego. And like when you're that low, you just rebuild. So like I quit drinking, I did all of those things, and like I decided to build like how I would want a house one day in the future when I'm clean and sober and I'm not like in my head all the time and just being sad and just being whatever. Like what kind of house place would I want where I live, where I function as? So like I built this. It's got a little side yard with a, street lamp and like a basketball hoop. And like the door's in a weird position because I hate it when the door's out front. I don't know why. I just think it would be cool to have like a cool side door and then like a cool like door by the garage. And like when you had Dave on here last week, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. I realized
Dave was here by himself 2 weeks ago. Last week we had the room full of people. That's
what it is. Sorry. I realized that Dave and I build a lot alike when it comes to buildings, but Dave does it better. So like those are goals for me eventually. And,
everybody's on a journey. Melissa was talking about wanting to improve her building, and I hope to tell people that we're all just on a journey. We're trying to express ourselves. We're trying to better ourselves, and the key is just don't give up. Just keep building.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. And like, so there's not much in the bedroom, so I'm not gonna rip the roof off and show you, but like, because who cares about an empty bedroom? But I gave it like a little bit of an interior. Like,
nice.
I've always been a big fan of like 50s kitchens, like with a black and white tile, like on the floor, and like this is white and dark green, whatever. It's still there, but like that's the kind of place that I would want to live and like function in one day. And like I'm basically doing that now with Emily. And like there's some cabinets on the side here on the some snot building there. Due to this computer, drinking a Mountain Dew and I don't know, playing Gears and Might and Magic 3 or something. I don't know. But like like that stuff is like super important. Like I keep going back to this and I apologize, but like when you're suffering and you're thinking to yourself that I can't do this, I can't see tomorrow, you gotta visualize that tomorrow. You gotta go for that tomorrow. And part of my visualization helping is building it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a huge advocate for mental health and self-help and everything else. And like, this has helped me immensely. I in all honesty, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have this in my life. Like,
wow.
You can have all the people in the world telling you that you're a good person, telling you this, telling you whatever line they want to give you because they care about you. But in the end, it comes to what's in here and like what's in here. And if these two things are out of kink or not working together, if the gears aren't meshing, then what's you're not going to ever be okay. And so building that image and building that image up and saying, I want to live in a house like this one day, or I want to be able to see this one day, like a flying car or a spaceship or whatever, I build it.
Yeah. Oh man, Jeff, I feel like I'm listening to you, and I want to like take the replay of this live stream and edit it down to like the most important like 5 or 10 minutes of what you've said, because I feel like you've given us some unbelievable good things to think about ourselves, to feel about ourselves. And I know there are people out there that are identifying with every single thing you say, and it's just beautiful. It's good stuff. Thank you so much.
And like, don't get me wrong. Like, we can say it's great and everything, but like that road and that trip is so hellish at times because it's not easy. But if you make it down that road, and if you stay your course, if you stay the course, you're gonna make it. Like, it's gonna be okay. Whether it's your faith in like whatever, whether it's the people, whether it's yourself, find the reason to see tomorrow. And it's not always easy to do. Hell, there's been times recently where I'm just like, why do I care? And like, 20 minutes with some bricks, talking to Emily, right as rain, and Spot the Magic Ninja is a huge fan of Heroes and Magic 3. High five over the internet, dude, because that game is like this the whole time. You got to find the map parts so you can get the things, so you can do the stuff. That's awesome.
Thank you, Spot the Magic Ninja. Really appreciate you being here. I'm glad. Oh man, it's so smoky here. I find myself getting choked.
Oh no!
And you're choking me up. Heroes. It's not. I can smell the smoke in my garage.
Okay.
But like all day, I had a bunch of errands to run today, which included like driving to Vancouver for Bricks and Minifigs because sometimes errands
go to. Yeah.
Sometimes errands is running is buying Lego. But man, it's rough out there.
I was gonna say it's because the stream is on fire, but then that's a lame joke, and it like, oh yeah, all those people are in trouble. Better not.
I love it. You just pulled a me where you explained the thing that you thought and decided not to say, but then you went ahead and told us a story about how you decided not to say it. I totally do that. Spot, thank you so much. What I was going to say is, Jeff, I'm glad you knew what that was because I don't. And I'm sorry, Spot, but you're awesome for the $5. Thank you. Bricks O'Brien, Brian, thank you so much. Cheers to a bright future. $10 from Bricks O'Brien. Brian, you're awesome, man.
Brian's like this the whole time. So if you like Twitch and if you like family-friendly video game environments, check out Brian Saviano, Bricks O'Brien on Twitch, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And you'll be rewarded with a good time. Just saying.
I've had some really, really fun times in live streams with Brian. Wonderful guy. Thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate the $10.
And holy moly. Yeah, so modulars came out in whatever year it was, right? And like at the time I could not afford modulars. I still don't buy modulars. Because whatever. But like I looked up how to build modulars and like I got the city neighborhood guidebook that's somewhere on my desk, but good luck right now because if I move the camera that way, you'll see like the junk pile that is Lego. So we're not going to do that. But like, it was like, this is how you build a basic modular. And then I went, that's how I build a basic modular. Okay. And like, this was my first attempt at a real modular. Like it's not modular. It doesn't come apart. Like it's just like a really weird, complicated facade. And then like,
it's cool.
And like
it's like this totally reminds me of a building that would be in Jang's city. Have you paid attention to his buildings at all? Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay.
Was that an insult?
I have thoughts about Jang that I don't want to discuss on the air.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry.
It would remind me of Bevan's Bricks or Bevan's Build City.
There you go. Great. Awesome.
Okay.
my only point in saying that was like it seems to me went full into I'm just going to make this look however I want it to look and embracing the goodness of that. That's all. Go.
No. I like James buildings and things like that. I just hate his reviews. Like I stopped subbing to his reviews and was like, hey, you've got a city channel. I'm back. All right. Okay. So like that's all I was saying. Like it wasn't anything negative or anything like that. Never in a million years. Like he's a great builder. And he seems like a pretty down-to-earth, cool dude, but like, I don't care about reviewing Star Wars sets. I'm sorry, like I'm not that guy. And like, So anyway, I built this, and like in my head, I was like, it's Art Deco, and it's gonna be part of a Gotham City thing I want to do. And then it never like came to fruition. And I was like, it's just gonna hang out, and then one day there's gonna be some more Art Deco stuff, and like when we do our display next year. Knock on wood, the displays and conventions can happen in Oklahoma. It'll be on there because it also has my Oklahoma Lug membership brick on there. So That's important, and like if you're not part of a Lug, you should join a Lug. That's all I'm gonna say. So
I say that frequently.
I agree with you.
not everybody has an awesome experience with Lugs, but I certainly have, and I think, generally speaking, they're great.
Yeah, absolutely. we've talked about lugs before, you and I in private, and like I learned to go with the flow, as it were, and to like be more adaptable with them and just be a better member rather than the headspace that I was in, because headspace is got to rebuild it. So that's what I did.
Awesome.
So going back to town and city scale, this is a speed champion scale Ferrari Testarossa.
I can tell immediately what it was.
And like
that was like the hottest car when we were 8, or
it still is.
Yeah.
Save for the DeLorean, but that's a whole nother story. So I binged all of Miami Vice one day, like start to finish. Crockett gets shot. These episodes are weird. I don't remember this when I was a kid. Whatever, okay. And like walked away from that and was like, I need some more Miami Vice in my life. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, welp. Nope. And so I got to building and I just love it. Like you have to lay down to drive it. But like this will just like look cool. Like say you're like you've got your city, right? And your city's like right here, and then like, you've got this thing's parked outside of it. What's it doing there? Why is it there? Does the old lady have it? Is she eating her ice cream because she's one of those people who's like, don't bring food in the car? So like, yeah, who knows? So,
oh man.
So this is the last mock that I'm going to physically talk about, and then we'll move on from here. And I promise, I'm sorry, I'm taking a really long time to go through these.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen, I would rather spend all this time talking about mocks than well, maybe looking at slideshows or something.
No, I understand.
Sorry,
it's all good.
Figure out how to say
it was a brief pause. It was all good though.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to disparage anyone that I've had on this show. Everyone's been lovely, but I think generally speaking, people love to see more mocks. We can never show too many mocks. Go.
All right. So this so I modified the front of this earlier tonight. Like it was flat and I hated it. So this was a tribute to like adventurers and like all that stuff, and like a lot like Neo Space. I was like, what would these dudes look like nowadays? Like, aha. So like cruising through the desert in their 6'4", jocking the mummies and slapping the scorpions. Like this would be it. And like Diesel Punk is a thing as well. And I was like, man, I really like Diesel Punk. How can I incorporate that into a aha? So I gave this guy a robot arm and was like,
yes!
Diesel Punk, sick. And like gave one guy an old school Tommy gun and like gave him like a fancy rifle. So he's like the gun guy that's with this group or whatever, right? And like there's the mechanic in the back. He can't sit down. Sorry, bud, because he's got a toolbox like right there. Like it's jam packed with things. And then the only I think accredited like are like I can't think of the word right now. Archaeologist would be the guy that's driving because he's got his hair combed nicely and he doesn't have like Cheeto stains or like last night pizza stains on his shirt, and is like, sleeves are important, fellas. And these two are like, whatever. Right? Just hammer down and let's do this. So I think that's all that I'm going to show, because that's one more. So this is a Dave Morgan like classic. I got to take my headphones off because I got to scoot my big butt over there.
Dave Morgan, did you know that there was such thing as a Dave Morgan classic? Speaking of Dave Morgan, he says, love the front of that mock. Yeah, I kind of believe that any vehicle, any vehicle that's not on a track that has a cow plow on the front is pretty BA. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
A zombie sled. Okay, go on.
No, that's absolutely right. And we do for Zoom. We really do. But so somebody asked in the tailgate party, as it were, before your show, right? And they were like, well, Jeff, what do you build? And I was like, yes. Yeah. And like, I build whatever I want. Like, it all depends on the mood. Like, there's never going to be a day where I'm going to sit down and go, no offense to Brick Bat Dad, I love that guy. He's the best person ever. I'm not gonna sit down and go, it's Batman or nothing from here on out. That's never. It's not my jam. Like, it can never be my jam. It'd be cool, but like, no, just like a hard no. Like, it would take so much out of like my head to do that, to appease the muse or anything else or whatever you want to call it, right? So, okay, so Dave Morgan 2 weeks ago is showing off his buildings and building how clean they are and how smooth, but still loaded with detail. One of the best builders I've ever seen on your show. No offense to everybody else or whatever, but like, I fell in love with Dave's building style.
Dave, put those points in the bank, man. That's some nice praise there.
Like, I could watch a stream with Moto and Dave talking about their process for like hours and just be fine. Like, this is my life now. So, in my mind, this dude is like a blue collar dude, and he's like the dude that you want around you and everything else. And like, he's got his little garden, as they say, across the pond, in the back here, and he's got like his dog, because everybody needs a dog. He's got a motorcycle, because if you live in a big city, you got to have a motorcycle and some sort of like day-to-day car. Maybe it's the Ferrari, right?
Right. I thought he had a pizza oven, but I think it's the tail end of the motorcycle.
So he doesn't have a pizza oven. He's got a barbecue grill.
Yes.
So like, there you go. And he's got a banana and some coffee for later. And he's got a cell phone playing music or whatever while he tunes up the hog, as it were. And, you know, and this is supposed to be set up against another house and things like that. And just, it's one of those things where I've never sat down and fully just decided to do all the things with the things that I wanted to do. It's just the nature of it. So inside might be a little, stuff's already fallen over. So inside he's got a suitcase for important documents. I don't know what they are, but
I always had to have a suitcase for important documents.
Like, he's got his little kitchen. He's got a staircase that was at the time that I built it, it was beyond my level of comprehension. Like, I'll take the staircase out to show you how I did it, because that's my favorite thing about this mod. So like, it's got a TV. He's got a big TV on the wall. It's got a comfy couch.
I love how the couch is at an angle. Like,
that was tricky. So I tried to keep. We'll go into it. So I tried to keep the floor all dark blue. I love dark blue. I love navy blue, whether that's because of who my dad is or whatever. But like, I love dark blue. Dark blue is my favorite color. So, and like, when I was building with this, I was like, I'm running out of this. I'm running out of that. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Come on, big brain, go. But then I came to like, well, how am I going to make the second story? And like, this happened. I'm not sure how this happened. But I was like, man, I got a bunch of clips, and I got a bunch of this, and I got a bunch of that. And I was watching The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. And at one point, it shows a spiral staircase, like in the doctor's home. And I went, oh. And then I got the building. And then like everything else just shut off around me. Like, I'm pretty sure Emily was trying to talk to me at this point, but I was like, can't hear, must put brick together. Jeff no here anymore. So like, moments of inspiration because you saw something on a TV or movie show or whatever. And like, I'm sure other people have done that too, but I don't think they've ever just been like, reality. Bricks is more important, you know? All right, so
love it.
All right, so I think it's time for some slideshows, but we'll keep it brief. How's that?
That's great. Are we showing more of your stuff, or are we showing other people's stuff?
So I've got some good friends of mine that I have always been a big fan of, and like they don't really watch the show, right? But like, I talk you up all the time because I really like your style. Obviously, you and I are cut from the same cloth, and like, they're like, Boone, why does that name sound familiar? And it's just like a deadpan. He was on Lego Masters. Oh, Lego Masters, okay. Like, did he win? I don't want to talk to you about that. Shut up. So like, all right, so Yeah, let me hit the share screen button and we'll start and we'll go from there. How's that?
Sounds great.
Cool.
Is this cool stuff we found online, or is this more show and tell?
This is show and tell right now from me, and then we'll switch to cool stuff we found online. How's that?
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
It doesn't really matter to me. I just want to play that's the one cool stuff we found online is the one segment intro that has a song. So I want to play it whenever I can. All right, this is showing us times us to infinity.
Are we good?
We're good. Yeah, you're
All
right.
So this was made back when I was dating my ex-wife, and at the time I could still build with Lego. So I just got done watching Akira, and then I just got done watching Blade Runner, and I went, how do I do this?
What if?
Right? And then people took notice of it. Like, it was the first time anybody ever noticed one of my mocks. And I was like, oh my God. And then they were like, here, sign this NDA. And then nothing ever came of it. And the NDA is done now. So here we are. And like, I wish I could show you some of the functionality. It was all on mock pages. So yeah. But the cockpit would open up, like the Akira bike would separate down the middle, right? Like it would open up for Kaneda and like he'd hop in. And that's what the idea of this bike, of this ship was like a city racer or something like that, or anything like that that would be, you know, in a Neo City situation. All right.
Awesome.
And I gave it to my former sergeant at my facility because my former sergeant was a big nerd and he always encouraged it. Like, he always encouraged me to be creative. He always encouraged me to do all of those things that I would want to do with Lego. And he was a fantastic human being. The same with my brother from another mother, Big Cat, who was my partner at the facility. And those two guys were amazing human beings. They're not AFOLs at all, like whatever, right? But like, they saw what I did and they saw it as art rather than a 37-year-old playing with bricks. And like,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, also, Aqua Mike asked my favorite Lego set earlier. This is it. Like, this is my favorite Lego, like, Star Wars set of all time. So there you go.
It's rad.
Right? All right. So let me shut that down. Let me do that, and we'll switch to. So over here to my right, and whatever it is on the screen's left, is my Lego storage area. And this was like 4 hours of sorting, sorta, and like getting it all set. And now it's not that anymore. So that was how I did things, like Tupperware containers and just putting stuff in there. And
I feel like sorting is a constant evolution.
Oh,
I feel like I could sort. I could do nothing but sort for a month, and I would still not be done.
Right. Same. All right. So this, I'm gonna plug my Fluffy, my girl's jewelry work. So she works in chainmail. And she also helps me build. Like, if there's any landscaping on any of my builds, like the front of this house or the front of the other thing, she does that. She does landscaping with Lego, but she also makes awesome chainmail jewelry. Like, how awesome is that? Is that I have this creative, wonderful girlfriend, and she's also an artist. And her family are artists, and they appreciate all the beauty that we can make, whether it be on paper, whether it be with chain, whether it be whatever, and they just appreciate it. So that's some of her work, and it's wonderful.
It's awesome. I love it.
Right. So,
hold on.
Okay.
Mike Cormandy said, "What department at Chainmail does she work?"
She works at Em, if you're still watching, can you put a post up of what you do and where your shop is, if that's okay, Boone? That's
yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah, she can put it in the chat.
Mm-hmm. A good friend of mine, David McKinnon, made her logo for her. She's also big into geckos. So like, she has geckos, and like there's a little gecko with chainmail and a sword and shield for her logo. Anyway.
Awesome.
So this picture is from Toy Photography. I just got into it like a couple months ago, and so like retro lines are a thing or whatever, but like they came out with a Daredevil, and I've always been more of a street level superhero guy. Like, save your Fantastic Four for somebody else, buddy. It ain't me. And like, Nightwing supersedes Batman because he was both Batman and Nightwing. So like, in my opinion, Dick Grayson, best DC character ever. And like, the 10-year-old in me was like, what would happen if Daredevil and Nightwing fought? Who would win? You know, because Daredevil's awesome and Nightwing is awesome. So there you go. And that's it from the other angle. The problem is these figures do not scale together whatsoever. And like, I had to do like some crazy photography. Like, my big butt was down on the ground laying on cement trying to get the shot, and I think I was eventually like, you know what, I'm done, we got it, it's all set, okay. So my love of Ninja Turtles is epic in proportion. If you ask Brian, Kirk, Emily, Paul, Dusty, family members, we'll be like, yeah, he doesn't shut up about Ninja Turtles ever. Joey, Maniac for Bricks, my co-host on our streams on Wednesdays and Fridays. Check us out, by the way, 8:30 Eastern time.
Let's see. We should put a.
We'll put a link up. Later.
Put a link up.
So like this, I bought into NECA, and NECA figures are, to me, top tier quality figures. Like, I love NECA. Like, they've made some awesome things, and then they made Turtles in Time Ninja Turtles. And that was my favorite arcade game, like, ever. Like, how could I not buy what I could buy? So I got Leonardo and Donatello because that's the best combination ever. And my buddy Adam, he goes by Sharp Speed on Flickr. We'll come to his page in a little bit. He photoshopped all of this for me. He made,
it's awesome.
like seriously, if you need something photoshopped, like, your guys are Kirk Wilson and Adam Jenswick. Like, go to them. Like, seriously, they do amazing work.
I love it. That takes me back to childhood so hard.
It does. It totally does. Like, how many times were you ever in an arcade booth and you were like, I need more quarters because I'm on Krang. Once I beat Krang, I can go to Shredder.
It's like that was the, Turtles in Time and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game came before that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only games I played when I was a kid in the arcade.
Nice.
But anyway, go on.
All right, so this next one is just the top of our shelf in the living room. We have two shelves. We have like a his and her shelf that are up against our walls. And so Batman has some tape on his leg, but that got fixed. Paul Buckley super glued it back on. But like, just the craftsmanship and just the molding of like the figures are something that I truly appreciate. And like, I just wanted to take a picture of that. Like, Superman in his Onslaught armor is just awesome to me because like, not only is it Superman, but it's Superman armored up and mean in business, and like, you're in trouble at that point. And in the back, if you've read Batman comics or DC comics, like, Frank Miller's Batman changed who the hero was. And I found that figure and the Robin that came with him. She's covered up by White Knight Batman. But like, how did you not want those? Like, armored up Batman taking on Superman in a battle of whatever, right? So like, that's cool as heck. And so, moving on to this is a Castlevania mock. I have the Castlevania mock still in together. I just can't move it because it's really fragile.
This looks awesome.
Thank you very much. Adam Janswick, Sharp Speed, made the special effects on all this for me, but I didn't really grow up with Mario Brothers. I grew up with Castlevania and like Mega Man, and like Joey, Maniac for Bricks, posted a digital building of like a Castlevania tribute, and I was like, wait a minute. So I grabbed some pieces, I grabbed some figures, and I went to town and I started building and like trying to get some functionality in there. I stopped getting the functionality in there and was just like, what would be a cool scene from Castlevania? How about when he's trying to go over the bridge and like, it's a bad night for a curse and everything starts going poorly for him. So like, he's toasted one skeleton and everything is great, but then you got the merman coming up on, those ice cream pieces that are so great to build with that, it can be like a jet trail or anything like that. And, That whip positioning, by the way, was not fun, like at all. So we've got a Belmont ready to throw a Jagger because he didn't pick up anything else from the candles, because that's the worst weapon in the game. And he's just got a bad day ahead of him, and all this in the background right here is just bricks on bricks with some snot techniques to show off some smoothness there. But like, I wasn't going for a complex look. I was going for a simple, if somebody saw this, they could guess Castlevania. And like, the coloring was based on the 8-bit coloring because it would sometimes mesh,
Yeah, no, it works, man.
Thanks, bro.
Spot the Magic Ninja with another $5. Spot! Thank you so much. Says, do you have a Lego Ninja Turtle mock?
I do.
They're my favorite. The NECA toys are great, and they keep coming.
I do.
Spot. Thank you, Spot the Magic Ninja.
I didn't show that off in the mock stuff, but I think once we get done with the Instagram nonsense, I'll show it off real quick, okay?
Awesome.
All right. So this is cool stuff we found online, but let's go to just a infinite view, but I'll show off the turtle mock, and then we'll go to cool stuff we found online. How's that?
Sounds awesome.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
All right, so in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time, there's a level called Sewer Surfing. And
Hold on. This just in. I just got a text message from Mark Crookshank. He's just checking in. Sounds like he's safe. Over. About half of his apartment building has evacuated, but they're still there. They're safe at the moment. Sorry to stop you.
No, it's first. I'm glad that your friend's okay, man. Like,
I hadn't heard from him in a few hours. He was texting me to check on me earlier, and I'm like, I'm fine in Troutdale, and I was like, what about you? Where are you? But he's good. All right, we can move on. Thank you for texting, Mark. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad he's all right. So like, there's a level called Sewer Surfing. It's right after the tribute to the street level in the arcade, right? And like, they have like these crazy surfboards. You just saw a picture of it with NECA figures, whatever, right? And so I was like, why can't I recreate that in Lego? And it's mismatched coloring right now because Brian Saviano is a jerk. So it used to be green all around, right?
You were saying so many good things about him earlier on the stream.
But he's a jerk in a good way.
Okay.
I love that guy, man. Like, he would be my Mark to your whatever, okay? So, like, and I was like, do you think I should add some blue on here for Leo's, like, board to give it some pop? And he was like, oh, absolutely, Jeff. You should totally add some pop. And I was like, damn it. So we've got Donatello's, which is purple, and it's got the pop, and I've got to find the pieces to fill out the rest, right?
Awesome.
And on this guy right here, this is basically complete. And then Kirk, Vision Bricks, asked me in a stream, are you going to build all 4? And I was like, I hadn't planned on it because I don't have all 4 NECA turtles, but I guess I am now, so there's that.
Do you have all 4 minifigures?
I do.
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, because like the idea was to like have...
That doesn't magically give you all the pieces you need, but...
Right. Like, the idea was to have the 2 NECA figures with the sewer background and then build a sewer diorama out of Lego to have a, like, mirrored image and, like, look at that. But, like, we're moving on from that idea and we're doing something else. No, he's not, Alyssa. He is not the goat. All right. All right, so it's your favorite part where you get to do the theme song. Let's do it.
Here we go. It is right here.
Cool stuff we found online.
There it is.
Are we good? All right, so Boone, you and I both love a good Batmobile. True?
I love all of the good Batmobiles.
We also love Ghostbusters, right?
Absolutely.
And we're kind of iffy on Scooby-Doo, but I mean, whatever.
I'm fine with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I'm fine with Scooby-Doo too.
It's the van is my favorite thing about the franchise.
Yeah.
So
we're not okay with $80 Velmas though, right? Because Bricklink is crazy. Jeez Louise, I can't believe that nonsense. So anyway, so this dude is called Let Them Fly Lego, and he builds Batmobiles from what I can tell so far. Like, I've looked through his stream and I went, that's awesome. But like, the Ghostbusters Batmobile was like, mwah, like chef's kiss, perfect. Like I can die happy now. I've seen this. That's a little drastic. Anyway, moving on to the next one. And the next one is this guy built a DeLorean, but he made it into a time machine. Because I figure if he's going through time, you got to be in style. And then, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's got the Batman symbol on the front. It's like everything Kirk Wilson could ever want in a mock, and like, just crazy. And so next, and then he, like same dude, right? And like,
is it like the colors of?
It's Boba Fett colors, but we don't need to talk. It's okay. Like he's still got the good. He meant well. He meant well, but like that's just awesome. Like how could you not like that? Like
oh my gosh!
All right, next. So those are all three of those of the Batmobiles. He built one into a DeLorean time machine.
Yeah.
So that is just epic.
That might be my favorite one. The way he's sort of. He changed the shape a little bit. He, instead of the fins, wings, and back, he's got the nuclear exhaust stuff.
Yeah,
that's rad.
And like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. The Ghostbuster one is my favorite because
I love the Ghostbuster one. I love the Ghostbusters one.
All right. Next.
Go on.
So this is like his take on the Batman. Batmobile, and I've seen a couple in the world, and like this is almost spot on. This is like you're getting there, but I still appreciate the build so much, so much, and like I want to see
what windscreen is he using. Is that a Speed Champion?
Yeah, it's the new double wide Speed Champions that you can't fit minifigures in because the roof doesn't close all the way. Oh. Sorry. But that's awesome. Like that's great. Like I want to see a finished version of that. I want to see a reworked, refinished version. Like that's just me though. So
yeah, I love it.
And that's next. So we got another one. It's the Scooby-Doo one. I highlighted. Sorry, it's gonna take a little while to load because my computer is slow because I've got 100 tabs open. So this is the Ghostbuster one that's close up, and like, this is just awesome. It's so great to me. It brings back like childhood memories of like the real Ghostbusters Ectomobile, and like just getting like my nerd on and just being like, that is awesome. All right, so that's done. So the next guy we're gonna talk about is I've known him as the Roman since he was a wee child. And like he does minifigures, and he does purist minifigures, and like the dude's amazing, like just amazing all around. Like the details of like upgrading older space figures or whatever, that's been done 1,000 times, whatever. But the way that he does it is just so clean and just so great that it inspires me to do that with my space figures and stuff, and like, what would this look like 20 years later?
So this is Sniper Squirrel 1?
Sniper Squirrel 1. Yeah.
Okay. Just so everyone knows.
Yep. Please check his work out. Please give him all the likes and all the follows. He's just a super cool kid. I say kid, but I'm old, so whatever. And this is more of his work. He did the infamous.
I love the double cape.
Same.
That's a good idea.
It's a great idea, and it's all purist too. Like there's no like, I can't think of where the belt's from, but it's whatever, and it's just so cool. And then this is for Joey. This is for Lego Island. Joey Maniac for Bricks is a big fan, but he reworked all of the Lego Island figures from like that old 95 from those games.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the guy on the skateboard. It's perfect.
It was cool, right? Like, that's nuts. And then he reworked all the Batman characters, like even the Bat Hound, the Bat Cow. And like, right? And like, just the work that he, like, there's this Kirk Langstrom in the back, his man bat, but like in half, you know, and like, his Azrael is just great. And it's goals.
I love it.
And then we come to this, which is Justice League 3000, or was it it's 3000, where it's the Justice League in the far off future.
Yeah.
Or, no, I'm sorry, this is the Justice League Do More. I apologize. But this is just great stuff. Like, holy smokes, you know, and it's all, like I said, purist and like just wonderful.
Iceberg is in there.
He is. He's right there. I didn't know he was a member of the Justice League. What's going on here?
In the Doom War he is.
All right. So what's next? Next is a blank page because my computer takes a while to load. No any good jokes? There it is.
I thought it'd be really funny to do like Lego stand-up, and I was trying to think of good jokes, and they're all just so lame. Okay, go.
So what you're saying is the jokes wouldn't fit together?
Yeah, they just, you know, they drop like a brick.
They don't click? All right. I'm sorry. So this is still the Romans' take on the old Alpha Team stuff. Like,
okay.
He's got the comparison of what the build was and everything else. Which,
yeah.
And then he just was like, here's this blueprint. I'm going to throw it away and I'm going to do whatever I want. And, like, it's just awesome, man. Like, details, Boone. Details. Details are the best part of a Lego build, in my opinion. Like, you can build the biggest thing in the world, but if it doesn't have the details and the lining and the scaling. So this is the Apocalypse crew, the New Gods, from DC Comics, from the great Jack Kirby, and he's got this dead on. Like, again, this guy doesn't know how to not do things the right way. As far
really,
as
really nice.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have anything else. I just said agreed with you.
No, that's great. I'm just looking at does he not do like each individual? Do you only get to look at the groups?
He does individuals, but I didn't want to take up a lot of time going through it.
Yeah. Well, I and I hope many others in the stream want to go look at this later. So awesome.
Absolutely. Please do, everybody. Like, please just give him a follow. Like, he's such a... I can't praise this kid enough, in all honesty. He's such a good dude, and he's such a good minifigure artist that... Anyway. We know this guy.
Hey! There he is.
So, Kirk Wilson, Vision Bricks, the GOAT, as Alyssa calls him, is a new friend that I have made this year. And he's done some amazing mocks. He's done some tributes to some classics. And, like, I just want to appreciate the work that he does to make his mocks look so clean and so bright and shiny.
Yeah. Man, that's beautiful.
Isn't it? Like, when I first saw this, I thought this part over here was, like, the Lego pieces. Like, it wasn't chopped. And I was like, man, where'd you find all that brown? And then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. This is another one of Kirk's, like, very simple, but, like, the Goblin Glider. Like, perfect, right?
Yes.
Like, all right. Next is the Xenomorph.
I need to learn about photo backdrops.
Yeah.
Go on.
You and me both, man. You and me both. So this is the Xenomorph that he made that is 100% purist. And he made this for a mock that we're about to see. And this upcoming mock is my favorite thing, save for a Predator 2 build that he's working on. He's not working on a Predator 2 build. I just give him a hard time about it. Anyway.
Says, who is that guy?
This is Vision Bricks. It's the best person in the world. And so Vision is a youngster, but he appreciates the 80s movies and pop culture. Yeah. And he loves Alien. And, like, he made this, which to me is ripped right out of the movie. Like, holy smokes.
It's awesome.
It is. Like, the scaling that he did in the background.
How he made it look like the head of the Xenomorph is, like, coming out in 3D, like, away from the backdrop. That's pretty brilliant.
It is. He's got the height right on the Xenomorph and everything else. It's just fantastic all around, man. Okay. And this is the last one by Kirk. I couldn't find any more pictures on this. I didn't really look that hard either. I was kind of...
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
Yeah, like... What the heck, right? Like, this is awesome. This is Peter Parker's apartment. Anyone that's read a comic book or played the game will be like, yeah, that's Spider-Man's house. You know? And it's just... It's great. So a really amazing talent. This is an old thing that I built a while ago. It doesn't matter. I'm going to shut all this down because Q&A is coming up.
No, this is so great. We're just getting a little glimpse, a little glimpse of each one. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, I love that you just have all these little lovely things. Okay, go on.
All right, so this is Adam. This is Sharp Speed. This is the guy I told you about earlier. Adam has been working on a comic for the last 10 years. And besides this comic, which is very anti-hero and very adulty at times and deals with psychoses.
Psychoses. I don't know.
This is an example of one of the mechs that he's built.
Rad.
And it is super rad. Like, I mentioned how I'm not a mech guy, and I'm not, but like, I kind of want to be after seeing this. Like, holy crap. Like, it's amazing. Like, the details on the railgun.
That's a great idea.
Just, dude. And, you know, he's just an amazing guy. He's a good friend. He's a great builder. And he just builds. Like, he just does what he can for, like, characters, for his stories, for... If Mel is still here and if Mel is still doing the Cyber City, like cyberpunk stuff, hook up with this kid. Like, seriously, like, you two together building that cyberpunk city, like, mwah, perfect.
That's rad.
It is, and this is some work that he did for an album that he paid tribute to, and like,
yeah,
and you know, it's just good all around, man. Like, I can't. So this is the other Batman strict builder that I know. This is Heavy Metal Wrapping Machine. And so he reminded me of you, Boone, because of your fire truck. Fire truck obsession. Like, it's not a problem, so it's not an obsession. But regardless. So like, he built a Batmobile fire truck.
Yeah.
And it just cracked me up because I was like,
oh,
what?
Man.
And he gives all this stuff like the best names. Like, this is called the Night Grappler. And like, okay, man, I'm down to what you're doing right now. And like, and he also builds like that, like this. And it's like, holy smokes, that's not silly and that's not whatever. That is awesome. But then you scroll down and there's the Bat truck, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Or like the Bat mini car.
The teeny tiny. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Look at that. That tiny little bat. Whatever.
With Nightmare Batman in it, even.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's super cool. He's heavy metal wrapping machine on Flickr. Check him out. Follow him. Do all the things. And now we're going to talk about Rob. Do you know Rob, Boone?
Yeah.
Then I don't need to say anything else because his work.
I don't think we've met face to face, but I absolutely know Rob's work.
And his work is fantastic. Like,
yeah, this is all beautiful.
We don't need to talk about anything more. His work speaks for itself. And just, dang, yo.
Yeah, it's incredible. There was a whole article in a Blocks magazine with Rob's stuff in it, maybe a year ago or so. But
I remember.
It's awesome.
All right, so is it okay if we run late, Boone? Like a little late? Then
yes.
Okay, all right. So this is Flashback Bricks. He used to be called Hobbs back in the day. And he builds Lego sets that are based on 80s play sets.
Look at
like
that.
80s toys.
Yeah.
And like, he's up on Rebrickable. If you go to his Flickr page and you check him out, like, spend the $5.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. because like look at this, like he builds he builds with Mega
Oh my
Bloks,
gosh, yeah.
like from time to time or whatever, but like, dude, you know, like I'm not gonna hold it
It's like,
against
oh,
you
look at
because
the turtle's lair. It's like exactly like the toy.
yeah, and like
So good.
it's so like
The van, man,
yeah.
it's rad.
I know I want to go back to like some of his first thing, like his Ghostbuster play ideas. Like that would be something that Kenner made.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
absolutely. This is beautiful.
mm-hmm.
So good.
It
Oh my God.
really is like okay, all right. I gotta go back because like there's something really cool that Boone, I think you will get a kick out of. So there's gonna be a lot of scrolling and a lot of like me desperately trying to find it. So I apologize.
That's
Okay.
all right.
All right. So there's that. Like shenanigans, G.I. Joe. Nobody cares about G.I. Joe. Nobody.
Somebody cares.
Somebody cares about. I care about G.I. Joe, just the newer figures.
Hey, I like that Batmobile.
That is a pretty dope Batmobile.
It's okay. Keep looking.
I'm scrolling. I'm going. It's happening. I promise. It's somewhere. All right. So I'm going to give you a picture that is like what I was talking about, but I can't find it right now. I was not prepared. I'm sorry. So, Home Slice made custom Ghostbuster jumpsuits from the real Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? And this, when was this picture taken? This was 2011.
Man.
Those are brick arm proton packs and stuff.
I love it.
Same.
Yeah, they look perfect. Where the Peter with the blue and brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
It really is like that Slimer's great.
Is that like a modified SpongeBob?
I don't know. I think that might be a custom print actually.
Yeah, but I mean the element itself is like I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's weird, man.
Oh, that's
no,
fun.
it's an upside down minifigure.
Oh, it's upside down. Yeah,
yeah.
I see it now.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
That's hilarious.
All right, so we'll close that down. And Fazoom was in here earlier, but Fazoom is somebody that I've recently come across that I just met in the community, and like
that's amazing.
His space builds are like perfection. Like I can't exclaim enough.
Man, yeah.
How much like
really
even
nice.
Ice Planet, like I'm sold already. Like
right.
And he's apparently interviewed your buddy Tyler before.
Yeah.
You guys are on like some sort of like reality TV show, right?
Something like that.
And so like, yeah.
Blacktron and M-Tron mix.
Oh yeah, that's what we're clicking on.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's so many amazing like builders out there that it blows my mind that like all of this stuff exists in our little world, and like you could be a mosaic guy, you could be somebody that's trying to recreate, David out of Lego, but like there's also little things like this is a work of art. Like all of this is a work of art, and it's beautiful, and it's like this is the essence of creativity, in my opinion, because of science fiction and everything else. So like,
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the last person I want to talk about is my friend Bilbo Full, or Billy Reiner. As you can tell, he's a big Nick Cage fan. The cool thing about Billy is that those suits, the Batman and Robin suits, are homemade. Wow. He also he makes pop culture minifigures. Like,
oh yeah.
He's not a purist, but that's okay. We still like him anyway. And like Game of Thrones was big, but if you've read the books, then it was big before then, but HBO, whatever. Anyway, so like the amount of detailing that he does is ridiculous. Like
they're really wonderful.
Yes. He made a piece that blew my mind when we were all doing. We used to be in this thing called Gotham City War on Flickr, where it was a strategy game, and you'd play as DC villains, and you'd be trying to take over Gotham City, right? And like, we were all just getting into comics at the time, and we were all just expanding on that, and yada shmada. But like, look at his Green Arrow, man! Like,
Wow.
holy crap! Or his Red Hood, and just
man, they're
just,
really good.
Yes.
Does he like clay model the extra pieces, or
he does this stuff with, it's called green something or other.
Yeah, green. What do they call that stuff? Green stuff.
Yeah, green stuff, and
there's
then
green stuff and blue stuff, and it depends on how. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think that's right.
It's absolutely right, and he'll mold it like that. Like, for a while, we saw stuff on Flickr and like Instagram of like the Watchmen figures. Billy was the reason for that.
Wow.
Because yeah. And then when people tried to replicate the work, it was like, okay. And in my opinion, I was like, just leave it to Billy, guys, like, and stuff like that. But I'm also extremely biased because, and now Billy is a tailor as an adult, and
wow.
Like, just like, look at that, like,
oh yeah,
like, what the heck,
rad.
Like,
and a lot of the custom pieces that he creates look like, and not all of them, but a lot of them look like they could be something that Lego might choose to produce, you know, if they were doing that specific character.
Like, Billy's figures aren't flexible at all. Like, they don't move. Like, and people have bought things from him, and they have complained that like the minifigure doesn't do this or the minifigure doesn't do that. And like, Billy, before he makes a sale, tells people these are display models only.
Yeah.
You know, this is not something for your 3-year-old or 5-year-old to go play Batman and Robin with. This is for you to put in a display case and just have it there for the rest of your life.
Right.
And like, that's another facet of Lego that to me is just fantastic. Okay, I can't find it, but scroll through this guy's work later. It's going to be awesome. You'll love it.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that.
No problemo.
Cool. Are you?
We're done.
Awesome. Let's share real quick where people can find you. We've got at least the banner I created for you yesterday, I think, was in. Oh wait, no, it's up here. This is it. So people can find you on Instagram.com/Jeff McElwee. And where can people see your show? You have a show on Wednesdays and Fridays?
Yeah, with Maniac for Bricks, our show starts anywhere from 8:30 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Maniac for Bricks is his channel name. He's known as Joey, and he's just a cool guy. And we have opposing views on a lot of Lego stuff, so it's kind of a crossfire situation.
Maniac for Bricks, is it all one word, or we got spaces in there? Or?
Yeah.
I'll just put that up, add banner, and show that one. So you can check out YouTube, go and search for Maniac for Bricks, and you can see these guys on Wednesdays and Fridays. What do you think? Can we take? Let's do like. Can we do 5 minutes of Q&A?
I'm down for 10 minutes of Q&A if you want to do 10.
All right, I'm starving.
Let's do 5 minutes of Q&A.
Let's do 7.5 minutes of Q&A.
7.5. All right.
Here it is, everybody. It's AFOL Q&A, and that's all I'm going to say. All right. Go ahead and put those questions. Put your questions and I was going to say put your questions and answers in the live chat. No. Benjamin says, what is your favorite mock, Jeff?
So my favorite mock, or like one that I've built, or like other people that I've seen. So
you can interpret that either way.
Okay. So my favorite mock that I've ever seen was on that night when I was down and out, and it was a giant moon base that like Jing City has a city, but this guy was like, nah, here's my moon base. And like, it was huge. It was like a pool table of moon base. I can't remember the guy's name. I don't remember the mock page site that it was on. Rip mock pages. But like that was like, it's time to build, not feel sad. So like
That's awesome.
that's what it did it for me.
That's great. Moto with $20. Moto, thank you. Moto, $20. He says, the Lizard Overlords are pleased with your talent and life lessons tonight. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. I think this is probably the Sam, Sam Hatmaker and I got into it a little bit with some philosophical, inspirational, what kind of conversations. But you really opened it up tonight. So thank you very much. And thank you, Moto, for $20. Really unnecessary. You're always here supporting us. Fazoom says, if you could space any space, how space would you space it?
Infinitely.
I love it. There we go. I don't know what makes me interpret this about this question, but let me see if I have that. Oh, where is it?
I want to answer a real question from my buddy Winterstar. He and I are old World of Warcraft friends. Both.
Wait. There it is.
Both.
Puppers or kitties or both?
Both. Yeah. I like puppies and cattos.
Oh. Let's see. Spot the Magic Ninja. Here's the deal. It took Jeff McElwee has had his own little
Diddy?
Viewer theme ditty. I like that. Viewer ditty for a number of months. And it took Jeff coming on the show for me to make one up for someone else. And it's Spot the Magic Ninja.
The torch has been passed.
How can I start a lug in my city? Is anyone in chat from Buffalo? So Spot, I know exactly how you can start a lug. You can just start a group of people and call it a lug. To be a recognized Lego user group, you have to apply, but that's easier to do. From what I understand, it is easier to turn an existing group that already has members and is already doing stuff into a recognized lug, where you have a bit of it's a somewhat formal, informal relationship with the AFOL engagement team at Lego, and then they will, they can recognize those recognized lugs and support them and work with them in various ways. But you can just find some friends and say, hey, we're Buffalo, if that doesn't already exist. But and I man, that rolled right off my tongue. Buffalo. If Buffalo doesn't exist, it certainly should. Or call it whatever you want, because I'm not from Buffalo. But really, all you have to do to start it is start it. Just start meeting, and you could probably find some resources that'll tell you what other lugs do. But then, if you want to apply to be a recognized lug, you would do that. Just Google Lego Ambassador Network, and you'll find an application there to be recognized as an R lug. So, all right. Let's see. What?
Go ahead.
Benjamin says, what is a Lego set that disappointed you?
So many. My biggest disappointment in Lego was the first Slave one.
Oh.
I'm spending this much. I know, it's up there. I see it. I like it.
Behind the Black Seas Barracuda.
It's a nostalgia thing for me, but when I first got it, I was like, what? I have a 2x5 with Frozen Han Solo on it. What the hell is this? I was like, okay. I built it, and then 5 minutes later, I was like, I can use these parts for something else, and I did.
It's so funny to look at those the early Star Wars sets and the early Harry Potter sets are it's like they didn't see the movie. They couldn't.
It was like they went, we've just got these licenses. What do we do?
What can we do? How does Lego do this? How does Lego Slave 1? Did you see a good question in there? what is a Lego set that disappointed you?
Slave One.
That's hard for me. I didn't buy Slave One when it was brand new in 2000, right? Or was that 1999?
It was 99.
By 2002, they put out Django's Slave One, and I was quite pleased with Django's Slave One at the time. And now the Slave Ones that are around now are even better than that one was. But I'm trying to think of a Lego set that really disappointed me. I'm so dang easy to please.
The Avatar sets, like all of them.
Yeah, I didn't build them.
Yeah, disappointed.
I have no frame of reference for being
That's fair.
appointed or disappointed.
Okay.
Right. Sorry. Did you see one that you wanted to answer?
I've seen a couple on here. I'll point one out. So let's see here. So Moto asked how we can join the Bearded Builders Guild. Cody O would be a better answerer at that. So like talk to Cody. How old was I when I got into Lego, and do you remember my first set? I do. It was a Futuretron like little spaceship, like in a box this big, and it came with a yellow spaceman.
Boom.
That's it. That's what I got.
Yeah. Mine was a shell station.
Nice.
And I think I was 3 or 4. I don't know.
Let's see here. So Winter wants to know old dark gray or new dark bluish gray. Old dark gray. Come on.
I use them both. I really like the look of the old one. I'm not opposed to the new one.
All right. What is our least favorite Lego theme? That's a good one. It's there.
What is your least favorite Lego theme? You're saying Rock Raiders?
Yeah.
There was some cool stuff in Rock Raiders. Okay, that's fine. You can have your own. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. What is it? I didn't mean to yum your yuck so quickly.
It's okay.
What is your least favorite Lego theme? That one's hard. How about Jack Stone? I like the figures, but the builds are
lame,
atrocious.
Yeah.
Bazoom says Chima.
I like Chima.
All right. Oh, I should put back up. Here, I'll put back up because every time I turn off a thing, we'll do that, and then we'll go back to the questions.
All right. So Vision Bricks wants to know what my favorite. Oh, go ahead, Ben. What is my Lego spirit animal? The Lego Dash Hound.
My Lego spirit animal is the Fabuland cat head on a Technic figure. What were you going to answer?
Vision asked me what my favorite Ninja Turtles episode was from the 80s. And the first 5, like the first mini-series that they released, where like it introduced you to that world. Like that's my favorite episode.
Why can't I see that? Did he ask that a long time ago?
He asked it at 10:06 p.m.
Yeah.
Right underneath Squid Kids. If I could meet any celebrity, who would it be? And I'm doing that right now. Like
I see it.
I'm meeting Boone. I would like to meet Boone. Mission accomplished.
So
meeting.
Who was it? I'll answer. If you could meet, I'll answer that one. Mine, would be maybe Adam Savage.
Yeah.
And he was doing a meet and greet tonight, a virtual meet and greet tonight, but it was $100 for 2 minutes, face to face, one-on-one with Adam Savage. And I totally get it, and I'm so glad that a bunch of people went and did it. My buddy Matt got to do it. The experience was given to my buddy Matt as a gift, and he was able to do it last night. And it looked like they had a wonderful time in 2 minutes.
$100 though?
$100, yeah. Isn't that something?
That's a lot of Slurpees, man.
Yeah, it is. Vision Bricks. Mine, I loved. There was this really weird. I'm not saying that this was my favorite, but I loved the figures that came out of it when they they like went to the future or something, and there was that weird elf guy who drove the flying convertible and had the hoverboard. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know that character's name?
It's the Dimension X episode where they met those teenagers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I loved those figures.
Yeah. They're great figures.
I thought the hoverboard was so rad.
And they had hair like you. It was all swoopy.
Yeah. Why I do this. All right. Let's see. MB asks, what the heck?
I don't know, Emily. What the heck indeed?
Is that your Emily?
That's my Emily.
Aww. That's a great. I did a live stream with Carl Merriam and Mike Psyche, who are a couple of like creator expert designers, and I had all these preloaded questions that were just like,
how dare you?
Oh, you were there.
Yeah. Of course I was.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
April's Crazy Bricks asks an awesome question.
Is this it?
No. What movie would you really want to design a set for to send to Lego?
Oh, come on.
It was at 10:07.
So that's for me. It's 8:07. All right.
Okay. You go first.
Movie. I don't know. It's so hard for me to think because I'm actually done with my ideas project. So I am about to do this. I'm gonna like take the photographs when we're done with the stream tonight and probably post it on Lego Ideas tonight or tomorrow. But it's not a movie, so I'm like clouded by. I'm about to do this thing, but I can't answer your question because it's not a movie. It's movie. If it was a movie, what movie would it be? Maybe do you have one, Jeff?
I do. Like that. Boom.
What is it?
So it's like 3.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one would be Blade Runner. Like, yeah. Like I want a spinner. I don't want to spend $400 on it. Just saying. The second movie would be, Zoom called it, I would love an Enterprise in like Lego form. Like, I bought my dad the Creo one because he's a big Star Trek fan.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one would be the Blues Brothers. Like,
I think Blues Brothers, the car from Blues Brothers has been an ideas set, hasn't it?
Yes.
And an ideas submission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I haven't thought of a movie that I would do. But let me. I'll pull something out from somewhere in the past.
Time Bandits.
Wouldn't Dick Tracy be a cool? I mean,
yeah.
The minifigure and the cars and the whole gang like that could be cool. But
that would be cool.
And the colors, right, would just work. All right, let's pick one more. Can we pick one more? Because I gotta eat.
Yeah, we can pick one more. It's gotta be a good one.
This doesn't have to be it, but can you answer, Moto? What's your favorite Hot Wheels behind you?
I can actually. My favorite Hot Wheels behind me would be the Ecto 1 and Ecto 1A.
Yeah,
this.
That's rad.
That's my favorite.
All right. You're gonna have to entertain people for a minute because I'm gonna go get mine, but it's in the other room.
Anybody know any good jokes?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll answer some questions. All right, so let's see here. So one of those questions that Vision asked was, if you were in charge of a crossover between 2 different 80s TV shows, what would they be? I think it would be great to see like Knight Rider and Magnum PI. Just because that'd be fantastic. Next question. What color scheme? So for Zoom, the color scheme for a space theme for me would be that cool dark red that they came out with, and like the neon green, like a future update of like M-Tron. let's see. Do you know of their? This is from Easton Junkton. Do you know of there any Hot Wheel inspired Lego sets? I think Speed Champion speaks for itself. What was the moment that made you want to do Lego forever? Benjamin Jerry, I talked about this at the start of the stream. It was a night that I was feeling very low, and just I had to pick myself up and rebuild my emotional and mental health. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. Like, in all honesty. So that was it. And Spot the Magic Ninja comes out with another super chat. I said dark red and neon green, like an update to M-Tron. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Spot, and thank you all for being patient. Thanks for continuing to talk, Jeff. So this is my favorite. This is my favorite Hot Wheels car, probably. This is Hot Wheels Boulevard. This is the 55 Lincoln Futura concept car. One of these cars was ever manufactured, and in 1966 it became the Batmobile #1 used for the 1960s Batmobile, the 1960s Batman show. So I love that because I was just so floored. I love the history of that car. I was just incredibly floored when I saw that they had made this into, and I mean, you can look at it and you can see that, like, for those of you who aren't familiar with this car, you can flat out see that it is the Batmobile. It just doesn't have any Batish stuff yet when it looked like this. And one other cool thing that I got to share about that is, at an estate sale one time, I came across this Life magazine from 1959, and if you look closely, Debbie Reynolds on the cover of this Life magazine is in a parade standing in the very car that became the Batmobile 7 years later. So anyway, I just think that history is cool, and I love the Batmobile, and so I'll say that's my favorite one.
That is pretty cool.
All right, man. Did you have one more thing to say? I gotta go.
No, I hope you enjoy your dinner, and I thank you very much for having me on here, man. Like,
you're so awesome.
So are you. Thank you.
you will. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the wonderful stories you told tonight. I hope that people will be able to find this and watch the replay in the future, because I know that, like, there are people out there that that need to hear what you shared tonight. So thank you so much for that, and thank you for being part of the Boone Builds community. And when I have guests back from previous episodes of AFOL Spotlight, you will certainly always be welcome.
I hope so. It was great.
And one of these days I'm going to finish building the Rock Island Refuge. And somebody asked me if I would do another. Someone asked me if I would do another sing and build stream, which had far more singing in it than building. So maybe I'll try to finish the set and sing a little bit. But anyway,
if you ever want company while you build that set, I'm more than happy to join you on it, by the way.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you all so much for being with us tonight. This was such a blast. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everyone else who supported. Everyone check out Jeff's stuff at the address below. And until next time, go build something amazing. This has been AFOL Spotlight Live with Jeff McElwee.
Let's go! I'm aboard this proverbial Winnebago. We're talking about the awesome fans of Lego. So build your mock and shift it into drive.